Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Mull for Saturday, the 6th of July. Reading through Matthew's Gospel with McShane, we read the 16th chapter today, and in verse 5 we have the story of Jesus and the disciples. He just had a debate with the Sadducees and Pharisees that asked for a sign. He said, "You're only getting the sign of Jonah," pointing forward, we know now, to his death and resurrection. When they went across the lake, the disciples forgot to take bread. "Be careful," Jesus said to them. "Be on your guard against the yeast of the Pharisees and Sadducees." They discussed this among themselves and said, "It's because we didn't bring any bread." Aware of their discussion, Jesus asked, "You have little faith. Why are you talking among yourselves about having no bread? Do you still not understand? Don't you remember the 5 loaves for the 5,000 and how many basketfuls you gathered? Or the 7 loaves for the 4,000 and how many basketfuls you gathered? How is it you don't understand that I was not talking to you about bread? But be on your guard against the yeast of the Pharisees and Sadducees." Then they understood that he was not telling them to guard against the yeast used in bread, but against the teaching of the Pharisees and Sadducees. There are 2 things sort of in that passage. The one is sort of wry amusement that the disciples seem to get things wrong time and again. And for me, that's an encouragement. If St. Peter, St. Matthew, St. John, and all those other great saints and founders of the church got things this wrong, they didn't understand, they were confused, and Jesus had to come and explain to them and had to challenge them and had to guide them back to the truth. If that happened to them, I mustn't expect that I will never get anything wrong. And when I get things wrong, like them, I just need to listen to Jesus and be prepared to change and come to a clearer understanding. So as we read through Scripture, when we find out, I completely misunderstood that, no problem. Disciples have been doing that with Jesus' teaching since the very beginning. And so for me, that's an encouragement. And the second thing is just that Jesus is saying, be on your guard against teaching. We don't have the scribes and the Pharisees and the Sadducees teaching us today, but there's so many other strands of teaching and ideas and philosophies and concepts that are brought in that can be dressed up as faith, that can sound very good, but are the yeast of wrong teaching. And time and again, we've got to come back to the teachings of Jesus. We've got to hang on to the gospel. We've got to hang on to the scriptures as the only teaching that will help us. And when we struggle to understand them, don't worry about those difficult passages. Go back to the easy passages. Always use that which is easy to understand to shape our understanding of that which we struggle to understand. So be encouraged that we are like the disciples, sometimes confused, but we have the teaching to hang on to. Be blessed.